meeting of Windsor Heights City Council come to order, please. Roll call.
Susan Skerries.
Here.
Joseph Jones.
Here.
Mike Lefredo.
Here.
Mike Jones.
Here.
And Teresa Harms.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Roll call.
Skerries.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Lefredo.
Yes.
Mike Jones.
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is public forum for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action will be taken. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you, folks. Next item is consent agenda. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Skerries.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Lefredo.
Yes.
Mike Jones.
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is, under new business, is consider the approval of a change to ordinance 121-07 related to sale, giving, or otherwise supplying tobacco products to persons under 21 years of age. Motion?
Second.
Discussion?
So I've inquired to find out whether or not there's anything that we have to do as a community, and I'm still waiting on a confirmation, but the information that I've been getting back was that the city, that we don't have to take any action locally. So Matt, can you tell me otherwise why we're?
Well, because right now, it's not a violation of the city code to do it, and so if they write it under the state code, then essentially it's costing us money because our officers are gonna have to go down.
Okay.
The state will collect the fees, we'll be paying the overtime for the officers to be down there.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you. I just was at a different level.
But yeah, the state will tell you, oh, you don't have to do anything at all.
Right.
We'll just, and they won't tell you, we'll collect all the fees for you and not give you anything back.
Got it. All fair, just looking for clarification,
What do we
and thank
do
you.
if this passes, is to post it at the establishments or what?
And I know the chief is at the FBI. I assume that we would, having it posted, but that's a good question, I don't know. We can ask the chief about it.
I think his recommendation is to go ahead and leave it alone until such time as the state takes their action, and then we can follow suit on that.
But the state won't be taking it, I mean, I shouldn't say the state won't be taking it, I'm not gonna speak on behalf of the state,
yeah.
but as far as, I don't know, like, as far as what has happened at the federal level, the state legislature doesn't have to take any action, and so I'm not aware of anything. I attended the Tobacco Commission meeting a week ago, they didn't propose anything, they didn't suggest that they're gonna take any action, and this was just kind of done. I mean, they are making other recommendations like, having vape products fall under the same code sections for smoking in public places and those sorts of things, but they're not, but as far as doing any other implementation, I'm not aware of anybody taking, nor is there anything proposed at this juncture.
And I'll email chief, and he's really good, even though he's left us for a big fancy temporary assignment. He'll get back to us and we'll know before the next meeting.
Well, what do we do with this?
What's it? I mean,
Back and table it.
you guys,
We can pass
you
it.
could, but I mean,
Yeah, I still don't know why we're tabling it.
no, because it's 3 readings, so we'll know before
Yeah.
the second reading, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a motion to second.
So your motion would be for option 1, to set a public hearing for February
Yes.
3rd.
Yep.
Okay, roll call.
Skerries.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Lefredo.
Yes.
Mike Jones.
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of resolution 2020-5, approving the plans and specifications for 2020 street reconstruction projects and authorizing publication of bids, College, Allison, and 69th Street. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Justin, come on up.
Come on, Justin.
I did bring everything, that's, they're actually set. The only thing I want to brought up, I emailed you all about the whole alternate bidding, I just didn't know if you had any questions. Came up with the dollar amounts, it's like 100 and something thousand. So essentially, it's just, so if concrete comes in, they get 100,000 plus deduct, and that's who's the lowest bidder from there, so. I'm not sure if there's any, hopefully I explained it good enough in that email, I'm not sure if you didn't get it, let me know and I can explain it now, so. That's the only big thing on it, otherwise,
I looked this over with magnifying glass.
there's a lot of sheets.
I asked Dalton, have you looked this over pretty thoroughly? Everything good for you?
I'm still working through it, but.
Yeah, and I gave an extra, usually it's only 2 or 3 weeks, but we gave a month on this, these, just since it's kind of a bigger plan set to get out there, so. If there's anything that comes up, we'll have it at them, so at one point, so. So just
Further discussion?
good bids.
Roll call.
Skiris,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
DeFredo,
Yes.
Mike Jones,
Yes.
Marks.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of resolution 2020-6, authorizing the SDBG grant funding application for 73rd Street construction. Motion,
So.
Second.
discussion.
Try to make this as painless as possible, because the questions come out from the MPO or don't come out very well, as you probably, that was included in, so I try to make it, we try to think of a way to make it simple how we answer those questions, because a lot of the questions didn't show up on that printout for some reason, and it's just basically a PDF, but, so hopefully, if there's any questions, this is for fiscal year 2024, that's between University and Hickman for this section.
Justin, explain to me the difference between your answer for number 10 and the answer for number 13.
Where were they, sorry?
Total fiscal year 2024 SDBG 4 million, amount anticipated SDBG funding requested over multiple years.
I think it was just a mistake typing it, so we changed it to go up higher, so I put the 4 million, I emailed the MPO, I just made sure I didn't mistakenly put that 2 million in there, I meant to do 0, it's just, I haven't heard back on it yet, so.
Okay.
So it is 4 million?
So requested 4 million, it's kind of weird how they ask if you're gonna do multiple years, they don't suggest doing multiple years on there, but they still ask because some cities do.
Right.
But, yeah, so I think it was just a mistake putting, it was 2 million, it should have been 0, so I'm pretty sure I made that change in that actual application. So the actual application's all electronic and you have to put them all
So
in.
it says 0 there?
Yeah, and I emailed to confirm that with Zach and I just haven't heard back from him,
Okay.
so. So the goal is hopefully get everything through one shot, we'll see, I guess.
Can you explain number 8 to me?
What was number 8, sorry, I didn't bring
The
it.
project description?
So the project description, it was from University to Hickman. We don't know too much about it because that's part of like the traffic study, whether there'll be 3 lanes, there's turn lanes in different locations, so that's kind of what the traffic study will do. I don't anticipate a whole length of 3 lane, but you know, around the school, college, there could be some traffic implications where we add a left turn to kind of alleviate all the backup through there, so. And then some trail, the part of the trail kind of comes on the south side, so that was a trail component for that, not necessarily the whole length, but it was just, I don't remember, just south of the parking lot, I think it comes up and connects it, and then wider sidewalks around that whole thing, so.
So the application is for a road that we don't know if it's gonna be 3 lanes in some places, 2 lanes in some places. It might have bike trails, some places,
I don't
wider
think-
sidewalks.
Right, it's no bike trail, it's just more or less redoing that new bike trail that's there,
Out
so,
by Cityway.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But you can tell me, you have no idea where the road would be widened,
Not at this point, no.
okay?
Did we submit a plan to them?
No, those questions that you have is the only thing that gets submitted.
Okay.
And it might seem like we're getting out kind of early on this, not knowing exactly what's gonna be built, but you have to get in line
4
with
years,
my
yeah.
opinion, so we're getting in line.
Yep.
And yes, there's a lot we don't know, but we're getting in line.
Well, that's
what
good.
We went through on university,
Mhm.
a grant application, and then changed the design. And then it changed, as you know,
Mhm.
lowered by a great deal. And anyway, can that happen? We submit this?
I don't know if it was lower because of the design changed. I don't know exactly.
Well, I don't
how
know
that-
either, but, you know, when you submit this for $4 million,
Mhm.
and that's the design of turning lanes and whatever you call that, wider
Right.
sidewalks or whatever it is. Yeah, that's a question I have.
Yeah, we'll do wider sidewalks and things like that, but I think, you know, there'll be turn lanes somewhere. It's just whether, I'm sure my hunch is over by the school somehow we'll have to accommodate, you know, some turning in there. And my hunch is college might have some sort of right turn maybe going in there to alleviate whatever, but don't think we're gonna have a 3-lane going through the whole section. It's gonna be chunks, so it's not really.
I guess my
The whole
question is,
thing.
if we get this funded
Mhm.
at $4 million, are we not stuck with, but
I don't think so.
is the plan, it isn't at this point?
No, because we really don't have at this point, there's
You
no
don't have a
plan,
plan,
right? So
okay.
you're so far out on some of these that, well, obviously, 2024 fiscal year, so you're 4 years out. So
Okay.
you're kind of at the point where,
MPO has to get the funding also, so they've got
Right.
something in line to know what they need to request the funding for
yep,
the following reasons, so that goes wherever they go to get their funding, so that
Correct.
they can decide where the priority is.
mhm. And if there's changes, you just kind of do an amendment to the change, you know, to the plan change. I've done that before with trail sections. It kind of changes a little bit, you just have to change whatever. You can change years too, you just have to go through the process of
Okay.
pushing stuff back, you know, from 24 to 25. It's not usually a big deal, it's just kind of, how they situate the money is kind of the
Thank
biggest thing on that. Just cross your fingers, you get a full million.
Any further discussion?
But then we'd have to, it seems to me like we're really putting the cart about 6 miles before the horse. I mean, we're making it sound like, oh, it's not that big deal, we can change it, but it seems like we did that and something bad happened. So there's no plan whatsoever, like on what the road may look like?
Mm.
We aren't at that phase in the
Right,
process.
and so we have
Sure.
to start the process
No, I
sooner
get
than
it.
that.
Like, I understand. I'm just not comfortable saying, give us this money for this vague idea of how we're going to design this road, and then the design comes out and everybody hates it, or something like that.
Joseph, do you want to maybe explain?
The idea is that we have to redo the road, so we need
Right.
more money, period. And unless we get more money, then we have no reason to do the design or any of the studies to figure out what it is we want to do. So this really is the preliminary portion of saying, we're gonna redo 73rd between University and Hickman, and we need money to do the project.
Mhm.
And it's
Why
gonna
wouldn't
need
we-
something.
Why wouldn't we just submit the application for redoing the road as is?
If we have
We're not
the
submitting
application
for
construction yet, we're
Right.
just simply
We're
asking
asking
for
for
their
money for,
money.
yeah, I mean, so it could be as is,
Mhm.
as a part of that. We're not telling them we're gonna do anything besides we're redoing the road, we haven't given
Yeah,
them any
with added
specifications.
turn lanes and whatnot, we're at a certain location.
Right.
But I'm not saying that.
Those are additional things that are not the way the road currently is in its existence.
Right, but it's not the whole stretch of the road. I didn't say we're doing a 3-lane from Hickman all the way to the university, so.
Well, I guess adding on to Mike's comment, it's vague.
Right, and that was the
And so you
intention.
might as well throw in a bunch of other things.
Right, and that's why I wrote it kind of vague, because we don't know what it's gonna be, so it's,
But at the very, very minimum, you have an idea that somewhere turn lanes are going to be added, but you have no idea where that could be.
nope.
That's a pretty big what if.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to do something's gonna have to happen for the school. But,
In my experience, and I've been away from this for a couple of years, so I don't know, Joseph, I'd have to confirm this or not. In my experience, the MPO has more requests for funding than they have funding available. And the quicker you get in line, the greater the probability that at some point you're going to get funded. And I think this is the right thing for the town to do, and yes, you're right, there's a lot of unknowns here. And we haven't even hired Bolton Mink to do this yet.
Right.
But these funding cycles only come around once a year, and so if you miss this cycle, you gotta wait a year to get back in line again. So this is just to alert the MPO and the members that this is on the radar screen. And there's nothing lost by applying for funding. I applied for funding once at the MPO, and I had no expectation we were gonna get it, and we got the funding. I was stunned. But it happened. So I've seen that happen before with them. So there's nothing lost by submitting this application.
Justin, what, would it make a big difference if it just says 73rd Street between Hickman and University Avenue would be reconstructed?
You could, but you wanna make it sort of appealing to them, like if you're just gonna say you're just putting in, redoing it, it's kind of like, one of those where it's not as appealing as if you, because one of the questions down the line was, are you gonna reduce idling or something like that? Because they wanna see something that can possibly help with something. I don't know why they ask some of the questions, what they do, but, I mean, it's kind of what it is. So if you can help say, oh yeah, we are improving idling by doing a turn lane, helping the school not back up or something, that's another check mark, or some points that you get on the scale, so.
And it does, I mean, there needs to be a way to get in that school.
Right, so I tried to write it vague enough where you're not locked in anything, but I wanted to add enough where you get some points built up for, scoring higher when you're competing against how many other projects that are coming in the door type of thing, so.
Are you of the opinion that there needs to be a turn lane in front of the school?
Yes.
Yes,
Well, then let's.
as a parent who drops off my kids there.
Going forward, that seems.
There's gonna have to be some communication
Well,
with the school how this works, so.
One thing that,
Just so people are aware, like, that's going to happen down the road now.
when I was visiting with the principal there, she was maintaining that some people get so antsy, as people do, as they're taking their kid to school, that they will go around cars
Happens
on a
every day.
two-lane street, so, they do it, Mark.
I believe you.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, I think it's real reasonable to have turning lanes there.
Yeah, there's gonna be some sort of thing, the access change with that school, because it doesn't, I don't think it functions.
There are
It's-
major safety issues that happen at that school every morning due to the traffic issues.
So it's just one of, I mean.
Invite you to come and
all
watch,
schools.
it's entertainment.
Sure it is. So.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, roll call.
Scaries,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
LaFredale,
Yes,
Mike Jones,
Yes.
Carnes.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of resolution 2020-7, approving the site plan for Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh, 7200 to 7220 Hickman Road, which is formerly the Quick Trip.
so moved.
Second.
Yay.
Would you like to do a little discussion there, or a little
Certainly can if there are
explanation?
questions. Yeah. So my name's Andrew Reich, I'm with the Hy-Vee Engineering Department, in charge of store design for our company. Appreciate the time this evening. Really just wanted to bring to your attention the Quick Trip that is currently on Hickman Road. Hy-Vee is in discussions with Quick Trip to purchase that property. So we will be making improvements to the exterior of the building as part of the purchase agreement. So really all we're doing is removing the branded Quick Trip material, the reds, the gold material on the outside of the building and the fuel canopy, and converting it to the Hy-Vee brand image for our Fast and Fresh. So it's a very similar image to the Fast and Fresh that just opened on Burl Hay Road. Very similar materials, very similar look is what we're doing. The picture that was in your packet for today was a similar C-store that we just recently upgraded in Ankeny. Same materials, same signage, same image. So that's essentially what we're doing to the building to upgrade the exterior, and of course, we'll be doing interior renovations as well as part of the project.
Now, how much ground are you taking on? Just a Quick Trip?
Correct, just the Quick Trip.
So you can't add anything next to it?
Right now, we don't have any plans.
Okay. And there's only one on Burl Hayes that has Starbucks there now.
Correct.
Which I think is kind of neat, actually.
Right, on this particular property, we have all the current parking lot that Quick Trip uses, but we don't have any current plans to expand at this time. Any other questions?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're coming. It's close to my house. And would you like to have a turn lane?
Maybe outside of this discussion.
And
Okay.
we already talked
Fair
about
enough,
that.
fair enough, fair enough. I just said I didn't
We'll
quite.
do a checklist for people who want turn lanes,
You can serve it.
adding to it.
Any further
Do you know
discussion?
when will this happen? What's your time frame?
What we anticipate is approximately mid-February is when we're closing on the property, and we would start construction immediately and complete probably around mid-March.
And will you be closed at all?
We will be closed during that time period, yes, for a couple of weeks.
Well, we're excited.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Roll call.
Skerry,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lefredo,
Yes,
Mike Jones,
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of resolution 2020-8, resolution approving severance agreement and general release. Motion,
So moved.
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Skerry,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lefredo,
yes,
Mike Jones,
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of resolution 2020-9, appointing emergency management commission representatives. Motion,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion? Roll call.
Skerry,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lefredo,
yes,
Mike Jones,
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of resolution 2020-10, resolution waiving fees for Nights in the Heights. Motion,
moved.
Second.
any discussion?
I've
David?
got something to add on the, David Swartz from 6601 Northwest Drive. I'm here representing the foundation. Thank you, Dalton, for putting this together and being proactive. Thank you, Mayor, for looking into this. On the resolution, the dates, though, go through July of 2020, and we might want to possibly amend that to extend into August to also include National Night Out. There's been some interest in that. So my only thought was possibly extending that on the motion. So I don't know if that needs to be reread or amended as
Do a
noted
friendly
here.
amendment to that?
I was gonna say, would anyone like to amend the motion?
You did the motion, right?
I will amend the motion.
And discuss it. Perfect.
Thank you.
Travis, you got the amendment,
Yes.
how it reads? Okay,
Okay.
roll call.
Skerry,
Yes.
Joseph Jones, yes. Lefredo,
Yes,
Mike Jones,
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Next item is resolution 2020-11, waiving fees for Celebrate Windsor Heights. Motion,
So moved.
second,
any discussion? Morning?
Hello, everyone. Lauren Campbell, 1004 63rd Street, with the Chamber of Commerce. I'm the treasurer of the Chamber of Commerce. So we're bringing back our annual celebration event. It's going to be March 26th from 5 to 7. I mentioned it at the last council meeting, inviting you all to attend. Tickets are available online. In previous years, I know that there's not many people in the office that would remember this from several years ago, but in previous years, the city has provided 2 rentals to the chamber as part of their chamber membership. One of them we use for the Celebrate Windsor Heights, our annual event. That's typically where we name our Citizen of the Year and our Small Business and Large Business of the Year. Last year we didn't have that event, so we just did it during Nights in the Heights, as you probably remember. And then the second rental was included or was auctioned off as an auction item to be used during business hours, so it doesn't take away from that profitable wedding weekend rentals that the Community and Event Center has. So this resolution is asking for it to be waived for the night of our event. Any questions about the event?
Will there be alcohol?
There will be.
Is it open bar?
So your ticket includes at least 1 drink ticket.
Is it liquor?
It is not, because we follow the rules.
Dalton.
But if you would like to get a resolution to waive the rules for a night, I can talk to Heidi.
I don't need to go down that dangerous path
But, so we're still nailing down the details of what all is included in your ticket, but we'll include at least one drink ticket. And if you come, I will buy you personally your second drink.
there. Is that?
Anyone at the dais.
As long as it's under $3.
$3.
Correct.
We'll make a Hawkeye vodka.
The finest Boone's Farm has to offer for you.
Drinking my yours. Yours.
That's it. Are there any other questions I can answer about Q&A?
No further discussion, roll call.
Series,
Yes.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Lafredo.
Yes.
Mike Jones.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Next item is resolution 2020-12, resolution waiving the fees for movies in the park.
So moved.
Second.
So tell us about movies in the park. Who's doing movies in the park?
Well, I think there's a consortium of people.
Hi, Lauren, 1,000 Edie says that I'm also involved in the planning. No, I volunteered to help with the movies in the park planning. We are in the early planning phases, but I believe some dates have been identified, and we're working on like budget for affording movies, getting movies that people will like, but also that are affordable, getting sponsors. We had a great turnout, I thought, for Hocus Pocus, and it was a lot of fun. So looking to continue that and attract more people to Windsor Heights and get them to come here and spend their dollars here and buy a house here and all those good things.
I think part of it we'll do 4 or 5 a year, and some will be inside, some will be outside, and do a mix. And get some local support to help out with it too.
Do you take requests?
Yes, but know that some movies are more expensive than others, so Frozen 2 is out.
Unless it's donated.
Yeah, if you want to donate, Mark, we'll, whatever, yeah.
Good enough.
But I guess there's some interesting price points that are available for movies, but, so, you know, some classic movies like Hocus Pocus, which I can't believe is considered classic, but those are a little bit more affordable for us, so we'll be looking
Like,
at.
what's the fee?
Range.
They range from about $300 to $600 for a movie for the license.
For one showing?
For one showing, yeah. And that's, since we're not charging people, I think if we charge people, then the price, if we're making a profit from it, then the prices change too. So.
I know that it's talked about a lot, there's a lot of interest in that, as we have had in the past. What's interesting is now, like our Clive Elementary has started doing it as well. So it's interesting that other people are kind of picking it up as a community or a event for their own.
Well, I think one of the things that kind of slowed us down with it is that during the summer, there's a lot of parks that do it outside, and so we were competing for people in some ways. And so because we've got the beautiful community event center, we're able to continue it year round. So doing some inside, some outside, and trying to plan, you know, when there's not conflicting events.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Series,
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Lafredo.
Yes.
Mike Jones.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Next item is council and committee updates.
I was able to ride with Dalton and the Public Works crew as they did some snow plowing on Friday. I have definitely learned I am never going to apply to be a snowplow driver. Never, not anything that I should ever do.
In other words, you're not gonna put a blade on your pickup.
No, not even that. So it was very, very interesting to see all the work that the Public Works guys do, and I'm very happy that they were out there doing that. Well, we also have the Economic Development Committee meeting on January 27th. And then, I think that's basically it.
So we've had a series of DART meetings, starting with the transportation optimization study, where we talked about the right sizing of DART for our metro area and whether or not It's where we want it to be and how we can be more effective. There's a lot of data there to be gone through. Last week we had a workshop on the budgets for DART, which will be coming back at the beginning of February. And then this coming Friday is our discussion on the property tax formula, which may or may not affect us since we're the only city that's actually capped. So we're at the cap right now. So that'll be part of the discussions, if that changes or how that might change based on additional services the commission might want to add into what's happening currently for DART. So otherwise, MPO meets on Thursday, and I'll start the process.
We have DART orientation on Thursday.
Do you?
I think so.
Oh, very nice.
Anyway, no report on action.
Mike?
No.
Reese?
So Metro Waste meets on tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday, thanks, it's only Monday, right? So, that, I will have a report on that next time. Public safety, members are to be scheduling their ride-alongs, with, the department folks so that they can get a better understanding of how the departments are currently working. I attended the Greater Des Moines Partnership Annual Dinner last Wednesday, and along with our friends at the Chamber, we had good Windsor Heights representation. Legislative session has started, if anybody didn't know that, and I haven't seen anything of major significance right now, with the exception of whether or not the I Will initiative passes, and that has potential to have significant changes to our budget. I think if that is the case. And what else? I'm planning to attend the Bravo Gala. Is anybody else going? No. Okay. So I won't be alone.
Thank you. Mark?
The request for proposal for rental inspection has been sent out. Responses are due February 3rd. An email was sent this morning regarding 3 locations for 2020 PCC street patching. Bids for that work are expected in mid-February with contract award at the March 2nd council meeting. Bids for the College House and 69th work are due February 20th with contract award expected at the March 2nd meeting. Bids for University Avenue will be taken by the DOT on February 18th, and the DOT contract award process usually takes a month or 2. Bolton Minnick has requested flood modeling data from FEMA regarding the bridge location for the bike hub project, and it usually takes a couple weeks for that. The next council meeting is not the 3rd, 2 weeks from today, it is the 4th, 2 weeks from tomorrow, because of the caucuses. So you may recall that we changed that date, so we'll come here Monday and there won't be a meeting. The budget committee met on the 15th, and a copy of those meeting notes were sent out today. The tax rate is set at $14.49, a reduction of $2.03 from the previous rate of $16.52. The next step in the budget adoption process is to approve setting the hearing for the maximum property tax levy. And that hearing will be set, the hearing date will be set at the next meeting, and the hearing itself will be on March 2nd. And I would like to take a couple minutes just to talk about the city administrator selection process, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind. So, it's currently scheduled, the interviews are currently scheduled for the first week of March. I talked to the consultant today, she said she could move it up by a week if we wanted to. Chief McCluskey will not be with us at that point unless we specifically bring him back for those interviews, because he's not done with the FBI Academy until the 3rd week of March, which is also spring break week, which is also final week at the legislature, so there's a lot going on that week. So it's my opinion that we should bring the chief back for these interviews. I think he's an important person to have here, and yes, it will cost a plane fare to get him back for a couple of days and send him back out there again. In my opinion, it's worth doing. The dates which these normally occur, in my experience, is, okay, so before I get into that, I think it's also good to have the department heads involved and to give them a chance to interview the candidates also. I've seen that done. I think that's a good idea. So my experience with these scheduling is usually it starts late afternoon on a Friday or middle afternoon, and it goes over into a Saturday. that's when the council members meet. At some point, the department heads interview these folks. I think it'd be good to have a meet and greet type session just for the general public to be able to meet them. In my experience, is usually Friday evening for an hour or two, someplace you go and you can meet, the public can meet the candidates. So, are people okay with a Friday start, Saturday interview process, and then, in theory, at the end of the interview process, you pick something?
What are the dates?
Well, it would be, I have a calendar here. If it's the first week of February, it'd be the end of that first week of February. The second is the Monday, so that would be the
29th, so it's like the 28th, 29th,
of
February,
February.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's like your free day anyway this year.
That's right. Very good, good point. Or that next weekend.
Which is the 6th, 7th.
Thank you. Is there preference for?
Let me slide another question. There's a screening committee of staff or something?
Well, the consultant's gonna bring her recommended pool of candidates to the city sometime in February.
Right.
And then the council will have the opportunity to review those, and then you will help narrow the pool down to 4, 5, 6, something like that.
I'm open on either,
For March.
March 6th, 7th.
March 6, 7? Does that sound okay with people? And the general concept of having the department heads participate, and the general concept of a meet and greet. And I should point out too, the consultant asked me to just remind you that typically cities pay for the expenses of the people interviewed to come to the interview. So just be aware, there's gonna be some expense to that. I don't know that we're bringing anybody from California or Florida or anything like that, I kinda doubt that, but
Was that the case when we hired the chief too? Okay.
that's pretty typical practice. So I will talk to Charlene Stevens about March 6th and 7th, and we'll plan on starting something on Friday afternoon. And just reserve your Saturday for the moment, and we'll try to complete it as quickly as we can on Saturday.
Well, we're gonna meet before that new screening?
Yes, yes, yes. Sometime in February, Charlene will be back with her recommendations, and then you folks will. And if you want to meet as a council, you certainly want to, you're able to do that. I think you probably have to notice it as a meeting to do that. Or if you want to empower one of the committees to be the screening party, you can do that, and it wouldn't be noticed then. That's up to you folks.
You're saying when, the pre-screening or the post, or like after we,
No, the pre-screening.
okay.
She's gonna bring in 10 or 12 or something like that, and then the city will narrow it down to something about half of that size. So if the council wants to be in on it, that's fine, you can have a meeting, or if you wanna individually do it and send your recommendations in, you can do that. If you wanna have a committee do it, you can do that. There's no right or wrong answer to that.
We did it as a council, with filling your role, with the interim person. Had the resumes and that randomly ranked them. And we selected you, Mark.
Sure you wanna do that same process?
That's right. But, so, go ahead.
No.
I know that's just what we did before.
I think our previous process, I mean, I'm the only one that was a part of that, was we went through and they came with just the top, I think 3 or 5, I can't remember, I think it was the top 5, and then the top 5 went through the process. But that was just done, I think, through budget and finance. I'm open to either process, I don't mind taking a look at resumes and, doing a ranking similar to what we did before. I'm open to whatever, but I think we need a process.
The way we did it with Mark, good way to go.
I'm down with that.
I don't know what that was, but okay.
So
You don't need to worry about it, Mark.
It's a very simple
You don't
process.
really wanna know, no.
Well, we had like 6 or 7 people kind of ranked in that.
We got all their resumes and then we ranked them and had a discussion and decided who we were gonna bring in.
There were 9 votes. Well, ties, there's not a tie breaking, you have to be on people.
It can't get complicated. Yeah. Okay,
I
well,
think it was a good process.
Yeah.
will replicate that. Thank you.
Staff report, or should we just say they're in the packet?
Dalton's shaking his head no.
It's in the packet. You got my questions, let me know.
If we could have one quick staff report from the city attorney, I know we normally don't. We've learned not to badmouth the chief because he's watching tonight, and he wanted to let you know they will produce a fact sheet for all the vendors and have signage for them to put up if you guys do adopt the tobacco ordinance.
Okay, great.
Sorry for anything I said, chief.
Hey, Mark, one question, I know I asked you this before, but we don't have the costs associated on here.
Okay, I was thinking of that today, now which ones?
On what, please?
So the budget, anything that has a budgetary impact to have on here, and only just because that's been a practice we've had, and it's been requested by our residents to make sure that those are on there. So there's a budget impact for the waiving of the fees, those were all on there, so if there is a cost associated with the resolution, if you'll just make sure that that's on here.
So even if it's not money expended,
Correct.
even if it's money not received? Okay, we had a discussion about that on Friday and picked the wrong option.
No, that's okay. I just-
Okay. If it's
I know we're gonna get there.
if it's money
No,
not
we did
received-
talk about it, because we didn't know if it was, yeah. if it was a
I think
top-
anytime
top.
there's a dollar amount involved, I think it's to put
We
it on there.
will do it in both cases.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn to 6 PM on Tuesday, February 4th.
Second.
Roll call.
Steers?
Yes.
Joseph Jones?
Yes.
Gilberto?
Yes.
Mike Jones?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
Thank you, folks. Stay warm.
I don't think that's possible.